Alright, here we are pulling line. First time I've had to do it. Here we go. This is Nature's Glory Cabin Off-Road Edition. Today we're doing Punkin Hollow in the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. We're going a different direction this time. This time we're starting on the Slade side and going through to the Menifee side. Punkin Hollow to Punkin Hollow. And here we are. We're starting out on the road. I cut quite a bit of the first part of this out, the easy stuff. It took us about an hour. That includes winching and the people we ran into. So let's get on with it. Let's move along. I'll reduce this down to about 20 minutes, give or take, to get you just to the good stuff. I sped up through most of it, slowed it down through a few of the fun spots. This direction is the harder of the two. The other way, you climb a hill with rocks, it's a little easier. This way you climb a hill that's muddy, and you'll see what happens when we get there. I got another guy with me in another 99 TJ. He's running 36s and I believe about a 4 or 5 inch lift. I don't know for sure, don't remember. But we're going to zoom along. This all looks pretty good. This easy part here, this is a 1 or a 2 for the most part. There are a few mud holes and a few crossings that make it a little more than a 1. And we'll slow it down for a few of the crossings. It had been raining more, so it's wetter than it had been. I did this back in September dry, absolutely no problem. Everything was pretty dry and just went right on. Nothing was very slick. You'll see when we get through here the fun we had, as I alluded to in the preview at the beginning of the video. It's a fun ride. You can take this one in one direction or the other. And here we go, we're coming up on the first major water crossing. This big rock, if you stay up close to it on the left, you'll stay pretty level. It's probably 4 to 6 inches deep. If you end up going too far to the right, there's a drop off. It's another 6 to 8 inches deeper. And I'm going to stay up close to the rock, and if you're watching the view behind me, you'll see the other fella. I think he just decided he wanted to do it. I told him about it. I think he decided he wanted to see how deep it was. You'll see that he goes over and it's a little deeper. Not a lot. Again, he's on 36s, so it's about halfway, 2/3 up. Not a big deal. I've been on this trail ride with stock vehicles before. Again, it was drier. I wouldn't recommend doing this one alone, unless you're well equipped and very well of the area. Again, these are old country roads. They're originally old county roads, decommissioned, maintained by the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway, Southern 4-Wheel Drive Association, and the Kentucky Land Cruiser Association. Private property on either side of these. Please stay on the trail. Landowners don't get very happy when you get off onto their property. So we're moving right along. Again, looks pretty easy for now. And it probably doesn't look like a whole lot here in a few minutes, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Several little water crossings. None of these are very deep. You can see in the picture on the left, that was probably 6 or 8 inches deep. You should be able to see trail markers, see the white markers off to the side there. They mark the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. You'll be able to tell where you're at that way as well. It's a pretty easily marked. You can GPS it to the very beginning from Slade side, 599 to Upper Cane Creek, and Upper Cane Creek runs you right into Punkin Hollow Road. We were probably moving, 5 to 7, 8 miles an hour for the most part through here. We weren't going very fast. And there's a creek off to the left you can see here. And we're cruising right along. Enjoy the music. When something happens, I'll talk a little more. Let me know what you think of this picture in a picture. I'm curious what people think of it. I know on a phone it may not show up a lot, but on a big screen TV or something you can see a whole lot more. I pause every now and then to kind of let him catch up so I can see him in the rear view. If you go back and look at my previous video with a fellow with me in a stock Sahara, we came in the other direction from Menifee County to Powell County / Slade. So in the other video I posted a couple 3 weeks ago. This is a popular ride. I intend to show as many seasons on this as I can to show the changing conditions. We've had lots of rain lately. I haven't been up on it in a while. You should always take a chainsaw if you haven't been back in here in a while, just in case. Trees do fall quite often. As you can see from here, the trees have been cut back. Chainsaw or some good cutting tool. Some people use a sawzall, and you can cut or pull with the winch sometimes and get it out of your way, but it can block your way. Another mud hole. I carry a complement of straps and D-rings and got a 12,000 pound Apex synthetic rope winch on the front. It's sprinkling a little bit on this day while we're out. This is New Year's Eve 2022, 12/31/22, and we're out in the mud. These aren't real deep. Stock height would probably get through these just fine. Again, on this day, as wet as it is, and I'm fairly well equipped. I got 33-inch tires, so I can get through most of this pretty well. I have my wife with me today. I don't usually drive as hard when she's with me. There's another tree that's been cut that fell across the road. The trail, excuse me. Road/trail. And you can see we've crossed a creek, and the creek is now on the right. And you can see we're going uphill now a little bit, climbing up. There's another marker. I think that's a posted marker. That doesn't look like a... I think it might be a Daniel Boone marker. I'm not sure. I didn't get a good look at it myself. I know the trail. I've been on it several times now. I'm not an old hand at this. I've only been four-wheeling for about a year. So here's where we're going to turn this corner, and we're going to get into some mud, and this is slick mud. The mud itself is only 2 or 3 inches deep, but it is slick. Coming the other direction, it's not near as bad, and the holes don't look that bad, but you'll see here pretty quick that this is where the fun starts. Oop, that's the one that got me right there. You can see from the rear view mirror that my back bumper is down in the ground. That bumper is even with the dirt, and you can watch me in the left front picture-in-picture. I'm slinging mud. I got the locker on and I'm stuck. So we'll speed this up a little bit and get to winching. It really comes out very easy. I did end up with a lot of mud on my shoes. This is where coming with a friend comes in handy. So we both end up coming up here working on this together. He's left his Jeep at the bottom of the hill and pulled off in a pull-off. Saw me walk around back, trying to see what it looked like, and here I'm getting it together. It'll start moving on here pretty quick in a second. Here we go. I've got this sped up. It is slick. We're lucky we didn't fall and bust our rear ends, but we didn't. So I'm up here uncovering the winch. There's my partner, and he almost fell like I almost did. So here we are. This is the preview. We're pulling line. That's the remote to my winch I laid on the hood, and here we go. He got a strap out of his Jeep to wrap around a tree. I couldn't actually get to mine because the tailgate was down too close to the mud. It wouldn't open. And I'm going to start tightening it up a little bit. enjoy the music while we winch. And if you notice at the top of the hill, we had some other people show up just as we were getting ready to winch out. This is going to provide another little fun aspect that you'll see shortly. They're talking to us while we get everything situated. This really didn't take us very long. I think I was out in about 15 minutes max, start to finish. There, I'm getting the line started and trying to get back over to the winch and put it back in gear so I can start tightening it up. So we're ready to do that now. Okay, I forgot to put in the right position, so I have to switch that. There we go. I'm just going to get it a little bit taut there, so I'm going to climb over it, get in the Jeep, and you'll see how quick this comes right out. Really didn't take a whole lot. Once I got out of this hole, I didn't hit it hard enough. Again, my wife was with me, and I don't drive quite as aggressive when she's with me. So there we go, pulling right out. Wasn't nothing to it. And we're going to pull up here and put the equipment away. And what I didn't realize was quite a few cars that are stacked up back there. So we're just reeling it in. He's got his strap and he's going to go back to his Jeep, and then I'm going to pull up to another spot up here, and it's going to take us a minute to get situated so we can make room for these people to get by. Once I got out of that hole, smooth sailing. There's another mud hole here, went right through it. There's some ruts up here that gave us some trouble. Took us a little back and forth, and I couldn't get far enough off easily. Those ruts were controlling where we went, which is something else you've got to be aware of. If you notice, excuse me, behind me there, that mud hole off to the right in the picture, there's a little area where I'm going to be trying to back into. It's going to take me a minute to get there because of the ruts. The ruts are keeping me in place. Give me a little trouble trying to get the right angle. Eventually I do. Looks like my picture-in-picture is slightly out of sequence here. I finally get crossed up enough to where I can get the angle on it. Again, those ruts are giving me trouble. They're wanting to direct me in a certain direction, and everybody's trying to help. There was a little almost fall. But all of this, I mean, it took the whole trail took an hour. Normally it takes about 45 minutes, so it didn't add much to it. The elapsed time here really wasn't that long. I think we've got it figured out now, and I backed up a little further and got off to the right and got another angle at it. Watch that water run down the hill. There we go. Now you can see where I'm trying to back into. It still takes me a couple of tries to get there. I'm not sure I'm there yet. I may have to move one more time. If you notice, they can't steer. That mud, that rut's just keeping them going. Nothing you can do about it. Once they get to the hole, there's rock over on that left side. Once you get that left set of tires on that rock, you can steer away, but you got to get by me first. Now, you just can't steer in those ruts. You got to be prepared for that. Drier conditions, yeah, you can, but not today. So I'm going to back up one more time, see if I can get a little bit further back. They're kind of a little bit impatient. Hang on a second here so we can get out of your way. There we go. You can see I'm further back now. There, I got a better angle. There's a mud hole right there, so they've got to get as far to the right, left as they can going by. Alright, so I'm going to get out here and direct everybody. Make sure everybody stays as far to the left as they can. They can't really get there until they get down to the hole because of those ruts. So I just hold it left, and when it finally grabs, they go. They have about a foot and a half between them and my bumper. I'm not sure where they're from. There's a few of these that say Capital City Crawlers, which is, I'm assuming, Frankfort, Kentucky. Frankfort's the capital of Kentucky. Cap City Crawlers. And I got ducked for my trouble. And the dog appears to be having a good time. These are important things to note when you get out on a trail. It's not always just you. Sometimes you got to find a way to get around other people. A few Jeeps, a few Toyotas. I don't think I saw a Bronco in this group, which is unusual. See a lot of new Broncos these days out on the trail. And that was the last one. Now we can move along. Here pretty soon we'll be at the top of the hill heading back down the other side. That's the worst of it, in this direction. I should have stayed there where I could film my partner coming up the hill, but I was just glad to be out of the way, so I made sure I got up out of the way and clear. And he'll be coming up behind me here in just a minute. And we'll continue on. He made it up with no trouble, so he told me. We had radios, GMRS communication constantly, so he knew what was going on. Now we're moving right along. Now it's pretty easy again. This side is a little rougher rock-wise, but it's still not very hard. The other side coming up to that hill before you got to the mud, where we had to winch, was pretty smooth realistically. This side over here is a little rougher, but it's still a little easier because you can get more traction, in my opinion. I'd say this entire trail on this day was a 3.5 or a 4 in this direction. The other direction, I couldn't tell you. It might have been a 2 or a 3. Depending on how you're equipped, it could have been more. That was for us. That's how I felt like rating it. Everything on the byway is considered moderate. Easy moderate, and some of it's harder than moderate. There's a few that are a little tougher. I did a Mountain Springs video that's a little tougher. If you want to go back and watch my Mountain Springs video, that one's mostly just the action because I lost a bunch of footage. Had computer trouble that time, so there was about 10 of us on that ride, 10 or 12. I cleaned off my picture on a picture camera on the lower left while we were stopped. And we're going downhill. A little bit of mud here. They made it up apparently pretty well. They didn't tell us they had to do any winching, so I'm assuming they didn't. There's no deep holes here on this side. If you like my stuff, give me a like and a subscribe. Whenever I post new things, you'll be seeing it. I try to post every week to 10 days something. Some of it's technical, some of it's off-road, some of it's about our cabin that we're promoting as well. Our rental cabin, when we're not using it, it's available. Nature's Glory Cabin. Just want everybody to enjoy the area. We do a little hiking. I say a little. We call it old people trying to hike. Because if we can do it, almost anybody can. This little spot here had a little off camber a little bit. It's not too bad though. It's hard to get perspective sometimes with the GoPro. That's why the lower cameras sometimes can show you a little more. The one on the left side is about halfway down the driver's side door. The one on the rear is sitting on top of the rear bumper. And I dropped a picture-in-picture out because we're actually not much going on from here on out. It's the rear one, that is. The left front I left on. Eventually I'll phase it out also. Again, it looks pretty easy here. Sometimes the perspective from the camera doesn't tell you everything. Got to watch for washouts. There's always a possibility of those. There are a few culverts here and there that you got to watch out that it hasn't washed into the road a little bit. You end up getting into it. And that was the worst of it. Now we're on our way out. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Come back and watch more. I've got the rear view camera with my partner pulling up behind me. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come back and watch for more.